Welcome back to day 3. You may already feel it. The body and the mind are settling, becoming more at home in practice. The 4 foundations of mindfulness are rare and precious, like rain after a long drought, like meeting a skilled physician after a long illness, like being guided home when lost on a dangerous path. The Buddha emphasized again and again, to turn away from the 4 foundations is to turn away from the Dhamma. To see the Dhamma is to see the Buddha. To see the Buddha is to see the Dhamma. Without this direct seeing, practice becomes mere belief, a religion colored by superstition, lacking the living heart. Leaving the 4 foundations is risky, like a newborn hawk that wanders away from its mother's protection and is easily taken by other animals. So too, ordinary beings who do not see the Dhamma do not understand liberation or the rounds of rebirth. Under the mother's watch, the young bird is safe. Within the protection of the 4 foundations, we are safe. This is our only true refuge, to rely on ourselves through the Dhamma, to rely on the Dhamma within ourselves. The 4 foundations are the ascetic's path, the route from which all factors of the path unfold. When we leave this training, mindfulness is lost. When mindfulness is lost, the mind is stained by craving, confusion, and agitation. But when we practice the 4 foundations continuously, we live by the Dhamma, with the Dhamma, seeing and gaining the Dhamma. We begin with contemplation of the body. Inner body as body refers to mindfulness of breathing. Outer body as body refers to the 32 parts. Today, we continue with mindfulness of breathing. The 3rd step, full breath awareness. Now we enter the 3rd step of mindfulness of breathing, what we call full breath awareness. From the very beginning of each sitting until the very end, let your attention rest gently in this small area beneath the nose and above the upper lip. This is your chosen focus. Stay here. Do not move your attention elsewhere. You are experiencing the Dhamma directly through the breath, feeling the natural qualities of the breath itself. Just as water has the nature of coolness, softness, smoothness, and gentleness, so the breath can also cool and soothe. When you breathe with kindness, it brings harmony within, and peace naturally flows outward to others. Fire, on the other hand, burns. It is warm, hot, and sometimes stinging. When anger or resentment arises, it burns the one who feels it, and it can burn those nearby as well. When you truly know the nature of phenomena, you begin to know the Dhamma. Through knowing the Dhamma, you follow it, you gain it, you see it, and you realize it for yourself. Mindfulness of breathing is exactly this, to know each breath as it is, without changing it, without forcing or guiding it, without adding or removing anything, simply knowing the breath's true nature. We have already practiced the first 2 steps, knowing the in-breath and the out-breath, knowing long and short breaths. Now we enter the 3rd step, knowing the whole breath. The complete process of 1 full in-breath and 1 full out-breath. The whole in-breath. As the air enters through the nostrils, know clearly its beginning, its middle, and its end. This is what we mean by knowing the whole in-breath. It is like a snake entering its hole. The moment the head goes in, that is the beginning. When half the body has entered, that is the middle. And when the tail finally disappears, that is the end. So too, when the breath enters the nose, know the first touch, the middle flow, and the final soft moment as the in-breath completes. This full knowing, beginning, middle, and end, is called full awareness of the in-breath, the whole out-breath. And when the air leaves the nostrils, it is like the snake emerging again from the hole. The first movement outward, that is the beginning. When half of it has passed, that is the middle. And when the tail leaves, that is the end. Know each part of the out-breath, beginning, middle, and end, clearly, steadily, completely. That is full awareness of the out-breath. You are not thinking about the breath. You are experiencing it directly. Each breath unfolds like a gentle wave, appearing, continuing, fading. One full cycle of life and release. Sometimes the mind will wander. You may notice you have drifted into thought or into sleepiness or into restlessness. Do not be discouraged. Do not feel guilty. Simply smile. Even a small smile. With kindness, bring the mind back to this very breath, to this gentle flow at the nostrils. Let awareness rejoin the breath softly, naturally, without force. Again and again we return home to the present breath. This returning is itself the practice. The 6 obstacles in developing concentration. Before the mind becomes truly still, we will meet certain obstacles. They are natural, and they appear for everyone. If we recognize them clearly, they lose their power. If we ignore them, they quietly pull the mind away from the breath. There are 6 obstacles to concentration. 1 appears before deep calm arises. 4 appear within calm itself, and 1 appears after the calm fades. Let us look at each one gently and carefully. 1. Before concentration, the obstacle of hope. This first obstacle is a subtle one, the hopeful mind. You may sit and think, may I enter deep meditation tonight? May I realize enlightenment? May I become an arahant in this very sitting? That mind of hope is a kind of restlessness, a wishful projection. It comes from desire, from I and my achievement. But true concentration cannot arise through craving. The Buddha called this improper striving. Striving mixed with self-attachment. Our spiritual resources may not yet be ripe. Wisdom and circumstance may not yet align. So when we sit and fantasize about attainment, the mind grows even more agitated. It becomes a fire of wanting. When hope is too strong, peace cannot enter. Let go of I want. Let the heart settle into quiet effort. This is the right way. Simple, humble, honest. 2. Inside concentration, 4 obstacles. When concentration does arise, other challenges can appear. They are not signs of failure, but signs of progress. If we understand them, we can move through them gently. 1. Fear. The first inner obstacle is fear, sometimes sudden, sometimes subtle. When the body grows light, when thoughts fade, when the field of awareness feels wide and open, the heart may tremble. You may feel as though the body is disappearing or expanding or floating in the air. You might sense brightness or hear an inner vibration. These experiences are natural movements of calm. Nothing to fear. Some traditions call them signs or images of meditation. When light or space arises, simply know this is light or this is space. If it passes, know it has passed. Do not grasp it and do not push it away. Above all, do not abandon the breath. Stay with the knowing, the awareness that observes. If fear enters, smile a little. Keep breathing gently. Fear fades by itself when mindfulness holds steady. 2. Attachment to calm, protective clinging. The second obstacle is clinging, a kind of attachment to peace. When calm and lightness come, the meditator may think, "Oh, this is wonderful. Let me hold it, let it stay." But the moment we try to protect the calm, it slips away. This attachment is a form of craving, wanting to keep what is pleasant. Just recognize it, smile, and return to knowing. Let calm come and go like a breeze. Do not grasp. 3. Overwhelming joy. The third obstacle is excessive joy. When concentration deepens, joy naturally wells up from the heart. A joy like a spring bubbling from deep underground. It arises from stored up kindness, from compassion, generosity, and faith. But if we try to manufacture joy, to make it appear by force, it becomes excitement and fantasy. True joy is effortless. It rises on its own and fades on its own. Do not chase it and do not fear it. Let it nourish, then pass. 4. Doubt. The fourth inner obstacle is doubt. Some practitioners, after a taste of concentration, become confused or proud. They may think, "I already understand." They stop listening, stop learning. This is dangerous. Without a teacher, without correct hearing, the path easily becomes crooked. Others may fall into confusion. Was that first jhana or fourth? Was that stream entry or not? These thoughts are restless speculation, not insight. So the Buddha advised, stay close to good friends in the Dhamma. Listen to the teachings often. Remember them well and keep humility. Knowledge grows not from pride, but from steady, respectful learning. 3. After concentration, remorse. Finally, when the meditation ends, a new obstacle can arise. remorse. It comes from all the others before it, from false hope, from fear, from clinging, from doubt. When calm fades, the mind sighs, "Oh, I've lost it again. I failed. I was careless." That regret weakens confidence. Faith declines. Energy wanes. Then concentration becomes harder to regain. The antidote? Patience and self-kindness. Smile at the mind's habit of judging. Begin again, quietly. Each breath is a new chance. These 6, hope, fear, attachment, overjoy, doubt, and remorse, are the most common obstacles on the path to calm. If you recognize them clearly and hold them lightly, they become your teachers. They show you what it means to let go, to trust, and to keep returning home. To the breath, the 4 phases of meditative stability. Once concentration is established, when the mind is steady and clear, there are 4 natural phases that follow. Each one shows how our practice matures. If we understand them, we can protect the calm, deepen it, and move toward liberation. Let us look at these 4: decline, stability, advancement, and release. 1. Decline, the falling back. The first phase is decline, when the mind does not understand how to maintain calm. When we fail to guard the heart with mindfulness, we begin to lose balance. Maybe pride arises. "I can sit for hours now." Or anger flares when something disturbs our peace. Or attachment sneaks in when we see pleasant sights or hear sweet sounds. All these are openings for loss. In such moments, the concentration unravels. It's like a pot of still water suddenly stirred by wind. The reflection disappears. Whenever this happens, don't be disheartened. Simply recognize it as decline dash dash. The natural fading of calm when mindfulness slips. Then begin again with humility and care. 2. Stability, the settled mind. The second phase is stability, or abiding. Here, the practitioner has learned how to stay. Mindfulness, wisdom, and effort work together smoothly. You know the method, you understand what to do. You respect the Dhamma and your teacher, and follow the steps with patience. This is like a solid house built on a strong foundation. Even if winds blow, it remains firm. Stability also means you can enter calm at will, quietly, naturally, whenever conditions are right. You don't force it, you trust it. This stability arises through hearing the Dhamma, reflecting on it, and directly practicing it. What the Buddha called wisdom, born of learning, reflection, and meditation. When these 3 work together, the heart becomes steady and reliable. Third advancement, going beyond the first calm. The third phase is advancement. This means the mind grows beyond its first level of calm. To advance, we must let go of attachment to earlier states. Letting go does not mean rejecting. It means protecting and transcending. It's like finishing one level of study and entering the next. When a child graduates from primary school, they don't despise their old lessons. They carry them forward as a foundation. In the same way, when you move from the first absorption to the second, you keep the clarity and steadiness you've learned and refine it further. Each deeper stillness builds upon the one before, from the first to the second, from the second to the third, from the third to the fourth. This upward movement is advancement, steady growth, step by step, through understanding and direct experience. 4. Release, the phase of freedom. The final phase is release dash, the mind's natural turning toward liberation. There are 6 grounds or levels of concentration: preliminary concentration, intermediate stillness, and the 4 absorptions, first through fourth. On any of these levels, it is possible to realize the first stage of awakening. How? Through seeing the 4 noble truths directly within the calm. This is called the knowledge of the Dhamma's presence, Dhammathiti Jnana. From that realization arises Nibbana Jnana, the knowledge of liberation. When we clearly see suffering, its cause, its cessation, and the path that ends it, we gain the eye of Dhamma, the pure vision that knows whatever arises will cease. Through this, 3 chains are broken: identity view, attachment to rituals and rules, and doubt. Freedom begins here. So even from these meditative stages, from the 6 levels of stillness, we can begin to see beyond the 3 worlds, beyond craving, beyond clinging. In summary, these are the 4 phases of concentration: decline, retreating, when mindfulness is lost; stability, abiding, when calm becomes reliable; advancement, progressing, when calm refines into deeper clarity; release, liberating, when calm and wisdom join, leading to direct realization of truth. Keep these in your heart. They show the natural unfolding of stillness. They remind us that meditation is not a single state, but a living journey, from effort to ease to insight to freedom, overcoming the 5 sensual desires. Now, friends, let us look deeply into another great obstacle, the pull of sensual desire. Even when our posture is steady, our breath is mindful, and our practice feels stable. The 5 sensual desires: sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch, still reach out and entangle the heart. We call this practice curbing the 5 sensual desires, or guarding against the 5 lures. Why we must guard the senses. Many practitioners wonder, why do I keep losing concentration? Why does my practice rise and fall? It is because desire still whispers, because the senses are unguarded. Even when all outer conditions are favorable, the hall is quiet, the body is settled, the breath is calm. If the mind clings to the pleasures of the senses, the flame of meditation flickers and dies. So the Buddha taught, Guard the senses as a wise person guards a treasure. See how desire begins, how it touches the mind, how it fades. Understand it clearly, and let it go. The 5 kinds of sensual desire. These 5 are the desire for sights, the desire for sounds, the desire for smells, the desire for tastes, and the desire for bodily touches. Each of these, when unguarded, can disturb concentration and drain the strength of mindfulness. Among them, touch can be especially powerful and subtle. The hermit and the princess. There is an old story from the past. A great hermit, dwelling deep in the snowy mountains, possessed strong concentration and spiritual powers. Every 2 weeks, he would visit the king's palace, appearing in the air, accepting alms, then returning to the mountains. One day, the king was busy with state affairs. He said to his daughter, the princess, "My dear, please receive our teacher on my behalf." She agreed. When the hermit arrived, out of respect, she extended her hand to help him step down from the air. In that instant, their hands touched. Though the hermit had deep absorption, he was not yet fully liberated. The moment of contact stirred a spark of craving in him. Desire rose. Mindfulness wavered. After the meal, when he tried to rise into the air again, his powers were gone. He could not lift off. He had to walk home. Days and weeks passed. He stayed in the mountains, filled with shame. Finally, he returned to the king and confessed, telling the story of how a single touch had broken his concentration. The king said sternly, "This is not the way of a sage. This is not the conduct of one on the holy path." Hearing this, the hermit was deeply remorseful. He practiced diligently for 3 more years, cultivating humility and purity. In time, his concentration returned, and his powers were restored. Such is the danger of unguarded contact. The lay doctor and the lady lotus color. Another story tells of a lay follower, a doctor who practiced contemplation of the unattractive. His determination was strong. "I will live free from desire. I will not be deceived by beauty." In the same city lived a woman named Lotus Color. Her skin was smooth and radiant, like white and red lotus petals. People said she was the most beautiful among all women. One day, her companions made a wager. "If you can make this doctor fall into desire, we will serve you forever." Lotus Color accepted the challenge. She began by sending her maid with fine gifts, precious incense, sandalwood, and rare perfumes. The doctor accepted politely. Over time, he became accustomed to the maid's visits and lost some of his careful mindfulness. Finally, the maid rushed in one day, crying, "My mistress is very ill. Please, you must come quickly." The doctor hesitated. "I do not treat women." But compassion arose, and he agreed to go. When he entered the room, Lotus Color extended her hand for him to take her pulse. The moment his fingers touched her wrist, his mind slipped. That single touch, the contact of skin upon skin, was enough to awaken desire. His meditation shattered. The lady won the wager. This is the power of contact. How quickly craving can arise when mindfulness is weak. Understanding the danger of touch. So we train ourselves to guard against such moments. We do not close our eyes to the world. We simply remain mindful of the senses. We recognize the arising of attraction or aversion, and we let it pass without feeding it. Even a small lapse can cause the mind to fall from its height. That is why the Buddha said, "Beware of contact. It carries the seed of craving." 2. Curb the 5 sensual desires means to restrain, to transform, and finally, to go beyond. We restrain through mindfulness, transform through understanding, and go beyond through wisdom. Only when the 5 desires are quiet. Can the breath be pure? Can concentration deepen? Can insight arise? Reflection. Remember, desire for pleasure is not our refuge. It does not free us. It binds us. True joy, true happiness, is born from the Dhamma itself, from a heart that is calm, clear, and unshaken. So let us keep training, seeing forms with restraint, hearing sounds without clinging, smelling, tasting, touching, all with mindfulness. In this way, we protect the breath, we protect the mind, and we protect the path. Removing the 5 hindrances. Even when we curb the 5 sensual desires, another set of obstacles remains. The 5 hindrances, pancha nanvarana. These are the great veils that cover the clear sky of the mind. They prevent concentration, cloud wisdom, and bind the heart to confusion. To see them clearly is to begin freeing ourselves. To remove them is to allow the mind to shine. The Buddha called them sensual desire, kamachanda, ill will, vyapada, sloth and torpor, thena midda, restlessness and remorse, udaka kukuka, doubt, vichikicha. Let us look at them one by one, not as theories, but as living experiences in meditation. 1. Sensual desire, the longing mind. This is the pull of I want. The mind grasps at pleasant forms, sounds, or memories. It imagines gain, comfort, or sweetness. But desire is never satisfied. The more it takes, the more it hungers. When what we want fades or changes, grief arises. We feel loss, emptiness, frustration. Desire whispers, if only I had that house, that body, that youth, that praise. But all these are impermanent, always changing, always slipping away. The Buddha said, desire knows no contentment. Even at death, the desiring mind still wants. So, when desire arises in meditation, do not fight it. Simply see it. Know how it feels in the body, how it moves in the mind. Notice its restlessness. As you see clearly, desire loses its power. What you understand, you no longer obey. 2. Ill will, the burning mind. This hindrance is anger, resentment, or aversion. It is the heat that scorches our own hearts and burns others too. It may begin as irritation, a memory, a sound, a pain, a person. Then it grows into frustration or hatred. When anger fills the mind, it cannot see clearly. The heart contracts, the breath tightens. This is why we practice metta, loving kindness. Gentleness cools the fire. Forgiveness is not weakness, it is wisdom. When you feel aversion, say softly in your heart, "May I be free from anger. May I be peaceful." Then extend the same wish to others. With kindness, the flame fades. Clarity returns. 3. Sloth and torpor, the heavy mind. This hindrance is the dullness, the fog of body and mind. The body feels heavy. The mind sinks into a dim half-sleep. This is sleepiness, laziness, or mental sinking. It hides itself behind comfort, a kind of cozy darkness that feels safe but steals awareness. The Buddha warned, sleep leads to forgetfulness, forgetfulness to delusion. Once, the monk Ananda dozed off while the Buddha was teaching. The Buddha said, "Ananda, do not let the snake of sleep bite you. Even snakes sleep as they crawl. You are born human. Awaken." So, when sleepiness arises, open your eyes, straighten the spine, breathe deeply, brighten the mind with energy. If you are truly tired, rest mindfully. But do not fall into dullness during practice. Energy balanced with mindfulness is the cure. 4. Restlessness and remorse, the wandering mind. This hindrance is called uddhaka kukuka, the mind that moves too much, or the mind that blames itself. Restlessness is the inability to stay still. Thoughts rush in every direction like a flock of birds startled from a tree. Remorse is guilt, regret, self-reproach. I should have done this. I shouldn't have said that. Both are movements away from the present. They disturb stillness, scatter energy, and weaken faith. Examples of restlessness and remorse. Sometimes even good deeds can bring remorse. You might give a small offering and later think, "I should have given more." That is called wholesome action followed by regret. Or someone steals and later thinks, "I should have taken more." That is unwholesome action followed by regret. Both are forms of restlessness of mind. The point is, when we dwell in the past, we cannot rest in the present. So what should we do? When restlessness arises, pause. Take one gentle breath and return to the body. When remorse arises, forgive yourself and renew your intention to be mindful now. The past is gone. The breath is here. 5. Doubt, the clouded mind. This is the most subtle hindrance. Confusion, indecision, lack of trust. It whispers, "Is this really working? Am I doing it right? Is enlightenment real? Doubt freezes the heart. It traps us in endless questioning without clarity. There are two kinds of confusion: delusion in view, wrong understanding, like thinking the body is me, or the self is permanent. Delusion in thought, greed, hatred, ignorance, conceit, and doubt. To overcome doubt, we must first learn correctly, then reflect wisely, and verify through direct experience. Faith and understanding grow together, like two wings of a bird. Too much belief without understanding is blind. Too much analysis without trust is dry. Balanced faith and wisdom carry us across. The medicine of mindfulness. These 5 hindrances are not enemies. They are teachers. They show us where we still cling, where we are still asleep. By practicing mindfulness of breathing, you will see them arise and pass, not as problems, but as lessons. Each time you return to the breath, you are cleansing the mind. Each time you see clearly, you weaken the chains of delusion. Little by little, the 5 hindrances fall away. Then the heart becomes like a clear lake, still, bright, and reflecting everything perfectly. This is the ground where concentration deepens, and insight begins to bloom. Steady practice, cultivating balance and endurance. Now we come to the heart of this day's practice. Steady, balanced, continuous effort. By now, your body may ache. Your knees and back may still complain. Your mind may still wander. But this is where practice becomes real. It is not about comfort. It is about learning to stay. When we keep our mindfulness alive, pain becomes teacher, boredom becomes mirror, and stillness becomes home. The 3rd step, revisited, knowing the whole breath. Let us return once again to our breath. We are now practicing the 3rd step of mindfulness of breathing, knowing the full process of each in-breath and out-breath. Sit quietly. Let the body relax. Let there be a small, natural smile. Feel the touch of air as it enters the nostrils, flows gently in and leaves again. Know it completely. The beginning, the middle, and the end. No need to hurry. No need to adjust. Just observe, calmly and steadily, as one cycle of breath follows another. This is Ānāpānasati's living rhythm, the rhythm of reality itself. The attitude of steadfast practice. When the body feels tired, use balance rather than force. When the mind feels restless, use patience rather than frustration. When discouragement whispers, answer softly, I will stay with this one breath. That is enough. Every moment of returning is victory. The Buddha said, patient endurance is the highest austerity. We train in this truth not by resisting pain, but by meeting it with calm understanding. When you feel the limits of your body, ask gently, can I continue a little longer? Most often the answer will be yes. And even when it feels impossible, you will discover that awareness itself has no limit. Balancing effort and ease. True effort is never harsh. Too much striving brings tension. Too little brings dullness. So we balance energy and relaxation. Effort is the hand that holds the lamp. Relaxation is the oil that keeps the flame steady. If we push too hard, the lamp shakes. If we neglect it, the light goes out. With balance, the flame burns clear. This is what the Buddha called right effort. Effort guided by mindfulness and wisdom. The practice of gentle inquiry. As you sit, you can ask quietly within yourself, am I aware right now? Am I knowing the whole breath? If not, begin again. Do not scold the mind for wandering. Simply invite it home, again and again. This simple question, am I aware? Can awaken you from distraction, from sleepiness, from doubt. It brings you back to the living present. The power of continuity. Some of you may have already discovered, yesterday's sitting was difficult. Today is a little better. Tomorrow, it will be easier still. Why? Because mindfulness grows through repetition. Each breath remembered strengthens the next. Each moment of awareness adds another thread to the rope of concentration. When the rope is woven thick and strong, nothing can pull you away. So practice steadily. Do not expect miracles. Let depth come naturally as water fills a well drop by drop. Seeing the nature of thought and breath. As practice deepens, you will notice that thoughts and sensations arise and pass like waves. The breath flows, sensations come and go, and even the watcher, the one who knows, appears and disappears. See this clearly without confusion or fear. Each moment arises, each moment vanishes. That is the law of impermanence, the living movement of anicca. When you truly see this, you will not cling to anything, not even to peace itself. You will rest in awareness, free and spacious. The secret of endurance. During long sitting, fatigue and doubt will visit. The mind may whisper, "This is too hard," or "I can't do it today." But ask yourself softly, "Can I stay one more breath?" Always, the answer is yes. In this way, we train endurance, not by forcing, but by trusting the next breath. Each moment you remain present strengthens wisdom. Each moment you remember loosens the grip of ignorance. So endurance is not suffering. It is quiet power. When calm deepens into joy. As practice stabilizes, the heart begins to brighten. Joy arises naturally. A gentle gladness, not excitement. It is the joy of being simple, the joy of knowing what is real. You may notice that pain softens, that even discomfort feels bearable. This is because mindfulness transforms suffering. When the heart is steady, everything within it becomes light. The unshakable refuge. After 3 days of sincere practice, some of you may begin to feel a deeper kind of faith, not in words or in a teacher alone, but in the Dhamma itself, alive within your own experience. This is true refuge, not refuge in ideas, but in direct knowing that awareness itself is the path, that mindfulness itself is safety. When the mind abides in this knowing, fear falls away. Joy and sorrow both pass through, without leaving a trace. This is the meaning of steadfast practice. Integrating understanding and practice. Remember, we must not separate theory from experience. First we listen and understand, then we practice and verify. In practice, theory becomes alive. In experience, understanding becomes wisdom. This harmony is what we call unity of knowing and doing. Knowledge without practice is like reading a map without walking. Practice without understanding is like walking without direction. Together, they make the journey complete. Final reflection. So, as we end today's session, let this be your contemplation. Stay balanced. Stay patient. Keep the body relaxed and let the heart remain bright and open. Be mindful of the entire breath, in its beginning, middle, and end. Know it as it comes, know it as it goes, and rest in that knowing. In this simple rhythm, you will discover the path to calm, to clarity, and to freedom. Now, let us take a short 5-minute break. Then we will return to the hall to continue diligently with the third step of mindfulness of breathing, full awareness of the whole breath.